Okay, so hello, girls. Happy New Year. Happy 2021 and goodbye 2020. So, we will be starting this year with me. Your first class is with me. So, I wish you all a happy new year, although we don't see each other, but I remember all of you. I always remember you girls, and I wish we could have got the live classes. But anyway, the world is moving on, the vaccines are coming, and you are all learning. I'm sure you have enjoyed your vacation. So we have to rush back to our usual studies. No? So I think you still remember what we did with population. No? So I've uploaded the note, the population interactions in my classroom, so you can have a look. Okay, all the complete note is there. So do you remember the definition of population? You can remember on your own. Now we will do about community. Okay, when we talk about population, we are talking about only one individual, no? But community means a group of individuals. Let me repeat. When we talk about population, we had done no population interactions. We are talking about one individual. I'm talking about myself, or you are talking about you. Okay, only me, only you. All right. But if we are talking about community, it means a group of individuals, me and you all. Okay, me, Miss Teo, Miss Dihun, and Miss Rimaya, we are one community of teachers. Then Dari, Banriti, and the other girls, I don't remember the name. I'm so sorry. You are the student community. Okay. If we talk only about Miss Amy, she is a individual, no? Just a single. Okay. But if it's groups of different student population and teacher population, and as well as management population. The management composed of what? Principal, then Kong Manda, then Ba Albert, then the people in the office. So those are your management. Okay. Let me say again the same example. Let me say again clearly. When we talk about population, we are talking about only one type of individuals. No, means in a group. Okay, like the human population, we are all humans, right? We are all humans, human population. Let's say in a zoo, there are only tigers, so tiger population. Okay. Now, if you talk about community, okay, a group of teachers, we are the teacher population. A group of students, you are the student population. And then the group of management is the management population. And if we take all of these together, the management population, the student population, the teacher population, that becomes your community. Okay. Just like in a zoo, you have your tiger population, your zebra population, your alligator population, those will be your community. Okay. Community, you have your, let's say your cow population, you will have your dogs population, you will have your rat population, you will have your, what else? Bird population. So the bird, the cow population, the, what is this? Dog population, the rat population, this forms your entire community. Okay, so I think that's clear. Let me just clear this. But if we are talking about only here in this particular area, only cows, 1 cow, 2 cow, 3 cow, 4 cow, 5 cow, this group of individuals which can interbreed among themselves is your population. Okay, all of these are cows, but if in the same here, if here in another place we will have dogs, dog, dog, so these two become your community. Okay, so I think it's clear. Okay, let me just okay, yeah, I just hit one button and everything clear. So community ecology deals with the group of different kinds of population in an area. Okay, I think you have understood. Okay, let me just read out. Community. In nature, different kinds of organisms grow in association with each other. Okay, a group of several species living together with mutual adjustment and beneficial interaction in a natural area is known as a community. Okay, so as I'm speaking, if I'm reading out, I will just underline it, highlight it so that you can follow me. So if we look at the examples of communities, okay, in nature, no, you will have your forest. In a forest, you have the community is made up of birds, mammals, no, insects, right, trees, grasses, everything. Then in a grassland, you will have your rabbit population, then your termite population, your ant population, etc. Similarly, a desert, a pond, etc. These are all communities. Okay. So communities should include only the living entities. Okay. Like if there's a group of tables or a group of chairs, it doesn't make a community because it's a non-living. Okay, now let's look at ecosystem. So just follow my voice and then you follow these lines. Okay. So ecosystem. If both living and non-living entities are considered together, it is not a community anymore, but it is an ecosystem. So for ecosystem, it will mean we will talk about the soil, no, the air, then water, as well as the animals. So if we talk about the soil, air, water and animals, means the non-living as well as the living entities, we will be talking about the community. I mean, sorry, we will be talking about the ecosystem. But if we talk about only the living parts, that is your community. Okay, so I think this slide is clear. Let me go to the next. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so like a population, a community has its own characteristics. Okay, I haven't done with your population ecology. I will do. It also has its own characteristics. Means what it is made up of. Okay, its characters, right? Like me, my characters. Am I jolly? Am I serious? Am I loud? Am I quiet? I have my own characters, no? So community has its own characteristics. Just okay, community has its own characteristics. And the characteristics have meaning only at the community level. Okay, community characteristics will work only. Community characteristics. Oh. Okay, community characteristics will work only for your community. They won't work in a population. Okay, so let's look at how many characteristics are there in a community. So there are, I think, 5. The first one is species diversity, then you have growth form and structure, then dominance, then succession, and then trophic structure. Okay, so if you recall, we have done succession, right, in hydrosphere and xerosphere. The succession that we did in before the vacation, that is a part of your community characters of community. So if we look at the first one, the species diversity, each community is made up of a variety of organisms. Okay, so like I told you, the cats, the dogs, the rats, the cows, so they are different varieties of organisms, right? So here each community is made up of many organisms, plants, animals, and microbes. Okay, so don't forget about the microbes. You have your plants, animals, and microbes, and it should be only on the living. Okay, so when we talk about a variety of organisms, means plants, animals, and microbes, doesn't this show diversity? like like in your class, you have people from Nagaland, from Mizoram, from Meghalaya, right? You have come from different states of the country, so you are very diverse. Okay, so similarly here, if we have varieties of organisms, means many variety of plants, many variety of animals, many variety of microbes, we see that it shows that the community is very diverse. So you have your species diversity. Okay, so there are two levels of species diversity, at the regional level, or the regional diversity, and at the local diversity, at the local level. Okay, so if I talk about local news, it means only in Shillong, no? Shillong news, or Tura news, or Jowai news, right? So for a local diversity in a given nation where communities exist at different latitudes. Okay, regional diversity of whole nations or parts of continents within which many different communities exist. So regional diversity, it is the whole nation or continents. Okay, like Africa is a continent. Africa is not a country, girls. Africa is a continent. Europe is a continent. North and South America, these are continents, right? So if the diversity exists very big, no, continents, continental, so that is your regional diversity. Okay, but if it is just at a particular latitude, no, latitudes means it's very close, no, like 30 degrees and 25 degrees is very close. So if it occurs at different latitudes, right, this becomes your local diversity. All right, so you will understand it later as I explain more. You will understand why I talk about latitudes. Now let's look at the growth form and structure. Okay, again, this one you'll understand better. Now let me just read out. Community is described in terms of major growth forms as trees, shrubs, herbs, mosses, etc. No? So in a forest, right, you will find tall trees, then shorter than trees, you'll find the shrubs, shorter than that, you will find the herbs, and shorter than that, you'll find the mosses. So what about among the trees? Okay, in the growth form of trees, there will be different kinds of trees, no, different kinds of plants. Some trees are broad leaves, Some trees are evergreen leaves, some trees are deciduous leaves, some trees are coniferous leaves. Okay, so you have different kinds of growth forms. No, they are trees, yes, but they grow differently. Some grow thick stem and broad leaf, some grow thin stem and needle-like leaf. You understand? So even in a community, the growth form is different. Okay, they are different kinds of plants. Okay, these different growth forms, they will determine the structural pattern of a community. Okay, you will learn about it even more. Structure means, will it be a dense forest? Will it be not dense, sparse forest, etc. You will understand better. Okay, then, so according to how the growth forms they arrange themselves, you can have two structures, the zonation and the stratification. Zonation is your horizontal layering, stratification is your vertical layering. Don't worry, it sounds tough, yes, but as I keep explaining, you will understand it. What is vertical layering and what is horizontal layering, or zonation and stratification will be clearer. Excuse me. Now let's us look at dominance. Okay. When I say, my God, this girl, she's so dominating, it means she is ferocious, no? She's huge, she's loud, no? She's strong. So, even in plants, no, the dominant one is the species who's the most important, okay? Most popular, okay? So, in each community, all the species are not equally important, okay? There are relatively one or few of these which determine the nature of the community. Such species are known as dominants. Okay, like here in Meghalaya, you will find the pine, no, the khasi pine everywhere. So that is your dominant tree, no, dominant plant, right? So it shows that other trees are not as strong or not as important, right? So the soil might be, the temperature might be that suits it, so it makes it dominant. So here we see that the khasi pine, the Pinus khasiana, that is the dominant species. Okay, so I think dominance, you understand, no? Dominance and recessiveness is the same. Okay, now let us look at succession. Oh, succession we already did. No, you understand. No, with time, there is a change, right? It keeps on getting, what to say, replaced. Succession, we have already done in detail, hydroxere, cerosere. So let's look at the trophic structure or the self-sufficiency. Okay. So nutritionally, each community exists as a self-sufficient and perfectly balanced assemblage of organisms. This is because of the presence of both autotrophic plants and heterotrophic animals. So here what it means is that in nature, everything is self-sufficient. Okay, the trees or the plants will manufacture their own food, and the animals will graze, right? Or the microbes will decompose, and it becomes a self-sufficient ecosystem. Okay. Okay, so now let us look at the next slide. Okay, remember I talked to you about the zonation, the vertical stratification. What was it? Let's just look back here. The vertical layering. Oh, the horizontal layering and the vertical layering. Okay, so now we will see about these two in detail. Okay, for okay, okay. So we can have the structure can be in studied in two ways. Okay, zonation and the stratification. So zonation is what? It is your horizontal stratification, a horizontal structure. Okay, now a community will show a structure or a recognizable pattern in space, okay, in the way they arrange their members. All right, okay, now try to imagine, okay, if this is the earth, okay, my earth is not at all round. Let's me try again. If this is the earth, ooh, still horrible. Okay, if this is the earth, the middle line is what, girls? It is your equator, right? Equator, I'll just write EQ. Then here will be your Tropic of Cancer, right? Here is your Tropic of Capricorn, and these are your poles, no? Aren't these the poles? Yes, and these are your North Pole and your NP and your South Pole. Okay, so the Earth itself is composed of many layers, isn't it? So now look here. If this is some sort of the Earth. Now here the tropical rainforest, where do you find it? In the equator part. Okay, the tropical rainforest you will find in the equator part. Like for example, the Amazon rainforest in the South America. If this is South America, the equator passes it here. Exactly, it passes the Amazon or the Africa. Okay. Now here, grassland or desert, it is passing by your Africa. My Africa is okay, forget it. This is passing by your Africa. And then it goes higher. Deciduous is in your North India. South India. Then coniferous will be your Canada, North America. Then tundra and ice and snow will be your North Pole, right? Greenland and Antarctica. Okay. So you can see distinctly a pattern, right? From here, is she? Okay. From here to there, you can see a pattern, no? Here, the vegetation is different, is deciduous. Here it is grassy. Here it is, here it is tropical. Here it is grassy, here deciduous. Then you have your conifers. Then you have your tundra vegetation or ice and snow. So you can see a clear pattern. Okay. So in zonation, a community will exhibit a structure or recognizable pattern in spatial arrangement of their members. Okay, thus, structurally, a community may be divided horizontally into sub-communities which constitute the zonation of the community. Now, here we will see both latitudinal and altitude. Altitude means like when we go up a mountain, no? See, this one that I'm showing you now, this is latitudinal, right? From the different latitudes, no? The equator, the Cancer and Capricorn and North Pole, these are your latitudes. Now, if we climb up a mountain, if we climb up Mount Everest, we will also see the same pattern of vegetation if we climb up. So this is your altitude, okay? Altitude means climbing up. Okay, I think you've understood. Now let's see your zonation in your altitude. Okay, here. Now here you can see the the structure of the vegetation as we go higher in a mountain. Okay, let us just imagine that this is Mount Everest. It is imagination, okay? Everest. Now, here in the base part, you find your tropical rainforests, okay? Tropical rainforests, right? So you remember here we had your tropical rainforest. Then in the previous diagram, then you had your grasslands. I'm trying to draw cactus. Then you had your deciduous, no? Then you had your conifers, right? Oh, it disappeared. Okay, you could see there is a similarity, okay, from the tropical grassland, then the deciduous and the coniferous and the tundra and the snow. You could see that both latitude and altitude have showing the same type of vegetation, okay, means the different strata, the different structure of the vegetation, okay. So I think zonation is clear. It means we could see that in a community there is a recognizable pattern in the arrangement of the vegetation, okay, according to height or according to latitude, okay. In a latitude, we see that in the equator region, we get tropical rainforests, and as we go higher, we will end up in the tundra or the ice and snow. So, similarly, we will see tropical rainforests in the lowest part of a mountain, and as we go higher, we will see the snow, okay, tundra and snow in the altitude structure of a vegetation, okay. So I think horizontal and vertical zonation you have understood. Okay, let's go next. Now in ponds, okay. Oh, okay, in shallow ponds, the zonation is shown, but it is very little, okay. But in deep ponds and lakes, there are three different zones, okay. There are three different zones, and these zones, they show different kinds of vegetation, okay. Now look at the diagram. Here in this diagram, we can see three zones: the littoral zone, the limnetic zone, and the profundal zone, okay. Now have a look at this. This is a deep pond. Okay, it's not a shallow one, it's a deep pond. So the rays of the sun is coming and it is giving light to the shallow part of the pond. Means the literal part of the pond, it is receiving some light, diffuse light inside the water. So this light, it can support the hydrophytes, no, these water plants. Okay, now this hydrophyte, you have seen it in the lab. In that second lab, remember, in the basin there is a small tub. Yeah, you could see those hydrophyte, no? So because there is some light in the littoral zone, it can support some vegetation. Okay, so in the littoral zone here, the littoral zone, it comprises of the shallow water region and is occupied by rooted plants. Okay, now let us look at the limnetic zone. It will occupy depths up to which light penetrates. Now this limnetic zone, light can still penetrate. Can you see in the diagram this one? This dot light can still penetrate, no? So although it is in the deeper part and this base of the ocean or the lake, it cannot reach it, but it can support what kind of animals? It can support planktons, nectons and newsons. Okay, these are planktons. Do you know these are free floating living organisms? Okay, they are photosynthetic, right? So in this limnetic zone, yes, they are. It has no soil. There are no rooted plants, but they are free floating animals. Okay, as free floating microscopic animals. Okay, now let's look at the profundal zone. Now if you look at this diagram, this dots is not there, no? The sun rays, these dotted sun rays, they don't seem to reach this part. Okay, so it means this is the part which is full of darkness, no? It's very dark. So here in the profundal zone, there is no penetration of light. Therefore, it has no photosynthetic organisms. Okay, it might have fish, those deep water fishes. So here we can see zonation in a pond ecosystem. Okay, so now let us look at the next. So we have finished with structure. Now let us look at the stratification. Stratification, it is the vertical change within the community and is more common than zonation. So what do you understand by the word strata? Strata means layers or steps, no? Strata means layers or steps. Okay, now just imagine, okay, I'm just telling you to imagine you have gone to the forest. Okay, you are taking a walk in the forest. So you look up, what do you see? You will see tall trees. Okay, you will see big and tall trees. No? Then go to the next strata, means the next layer, you will see some shrubs, semi-tall shrubs. Now go to the next layer, you will see some herbs. Okay, maybe you are seeing the trifolium, maybe you are seeing the Lantana camara. You see the herbs. Okay, fine. Go again down, look more down. Maybe you see some mushroom. Nee, my mushroom is funny looking. Whatever. So aren't you noticing that you are getting some sort of a steps? You are getting some sort of steps from the tall trees to the shrubs to the herbs and then finally to the mushroom. You are getting a steps. So this is your strata. These are your layers. Okay, stratification. So let me say again. It is the vertical change within the community and is more common than zonation. In each horizontal zone, there may be recognized different vertical layers of vegetation. Sometimes the stratification is very complex, where community possesses a number of vertical layers of species, each made up of a characteristic growth form. Fine, it is so complicated, but you can write in your own words, okay, as you've understood it. Now, in grassland communities, there is a subterranean floor containing basal portion of the vegetation such as rhizomes of grass covered by litter debris of plants as well as animals. Okay. Yeah. So if we look at this grassland, no? Let's say this is the grassland. So if these are the grasses, no? You know, grasses are perennial, means yes, okay, fine, the upper part dies, but the under part, no, the rhizome, they live forever. Okay, so in the grassland, you have the rhizome inside the ground, then you have the debris covering up the litter here, then you will have the leaves of the grass. Then as you go higher, you might find some cactus, you might find some shrubs, you might find some herbs. Okay. Okay, so we come back to this slide. So in the grassland community, there's a subterranean floor containing rhizomes covered by litter and debris, okay, as well as some animals, like scorpions or snakes or rats you will find, okay. Now, stratification in a forest community, now if we talk about the steps, the layers in a forest, it is very much complicated where we can see so many layers. We can see as many as 5 vertical subdivisions. Okay, these could be subterranean floor, then you have the forest floor, then you have the herbaceous vegetation, then you have the shrubs, then you have the trees. Okay. So in grassland, you have only 2. Only the floor, underground, and the herbs. All right. So you have only the underground floor and where we find the cactus. But in a forest, you will find many, You have the underground, then the floor, then the herbs layer, then the shrub, then the trees. Okay. Here, girls, you can see nicely the different layers. Okay, let's start from the down part. First, you can see the subterranean part, which is rich in humus, and the roots of the plants, the fungus, the bacteria. Okay, then you have the second one is the forest floor. You have your litter, that is the dead organic matter, the litter, the fungus, bacteria, animals. Then you have the herb layer, the grass layer. Then you have the shrub layer, then you have the tall trees layer. Okay, so here you will see a complex stratification in a forest community. So with this, or just say, community structure is done, but the attributes I still have to do, okay? The quantitative and qualitative attributes. So I will stop here because we have just come back from our holiday. But I'm telling you beforehand, I will be doing only screen recording, okay, girls? Because there's a lot to do, no? If I interact too much, it takes too much time. Okay, but if you do have doubts, please ask me in the group. I don't mind, no, clearing your doubts. But so far, so that I finish the course in time, I will be doing screen recording. Okay, I know it will be very boring to just listen to my voice, but you have to. Okay, I will still provide notes, but you have to listen to the lecture so that you can ask me questions. So, with this, thank you, girls. How do I stop this?